The WNBA just got caught red-handed in what might be the most blatant case of referee manipulation we've seen all season. What happened in the final 3.9 seconds of the Indiana Fever versus LA Sparks game wasn't just bad officiating, it was something far more sinister that had Clark and the entire Fever bench ready to storm the court. And once you see what really went down, you'll understand why fans are calling for a full investigation into these officials' betting histories. Before we expose exactly how the refs tried to steal this game, make sure you hit that like button if you think the WNBA needs to clean house with these corrupt officials. Your support helps us keep bringing you the truth they don't want you to hear. Picture this. The Fever are clinging to a 76-75 lead with less than 4 seconds on the clock. They're missing 4 key players, including Clark, who's still recovering from her injury. The Sparks need just 1 basket to potentially knock Indiana out of playoff contention. What happens next defies every rule of basketball logic. The referees gave Los Angeles not 1, not 2, but 5 separate chances to score in those final seconds. 5. And the way they did it was so obvious that even the announcers couldn't hide their disbelief. Here's where it gets really suspicious. With 0.6 seconds left, Aaliyah Boston makes a clean defensive play, stripping the ball from the Sparks. Game should be over, right? Wrong. The refs call a phantom foul that nobody in the arena saw. Kelsey Mitchell goes to the line, misses both free throws, and with 0.4 seconds remaining, any reasonable person knows this game is done. But these refs had other plans. They somehow found 0.1 seconds to put back on the clock and gave the Sparks another inbound opportunity. 0.1 seconds. Do you know what you can do in 0.1 seconds? Absolutely nothing, unless you're being helped by officials who clearly had money riding on this game. But that wasn't even the worst part. Social media exploded when footage emerged showing the referee closest to the play actually smirking as he made the call. Fans immediately started digging into this crew's history, and what they found was shocking. This same group of officials had been involved in 3 other controversial endings this season, all benefiting home teams in close games. The pattern was too obvious to ignore. One Reddit user even tracked down betting line movements that showed massive late money coming in on the Sparks just minutes before tip-off. Coincidence? The league wants you to think so. What happened next would make any basketball purist sick to their stomach. The Sparks got their inbound with that ridiculous 0.1 on the clock, and the refs were literally directing players where to stand, coaching them on how to run the play. Sydney Coulson, watching from the bench, was caught on camera mouthing "this is fixed" to a teammate. The look on her face said everything, pure disgust at what was unfolding. Even Clark, usually composed despite her injury status, was standing up ready to call out the officials. The entire Fever bench knew they were being robbed in broad daylight. Here's something the mainstream media won't tell you about this game. Earlier in the 4th quarter, these same refs had already shown their bias. They get what's called 3 straight offensive fouls on Indiana while letting the Sparks literally body check Fever players without a whistle. Odyssey Sims got hammered driving to the basket. No call. Aaliyah Boston was getting held on every possession. Nothing. But breathe on a Sparks player? Immediate whistle. The free throw disparity in the 4th quarter alone was 11-2 in favor of Los Angeles. That's not incompetence, that's a pattern. The hero of this story ended up being Odyssey Sims herself, who refused to let the refs decide this game. Playing against her former team, she dropped 21 points, including the final 5 that sealed the victory. But here's the crazy part. Sims revealed after the game that one of the refs had approached her during warm-ups and made a comment about keeping it close tonight. She thought it was a joke at the time. Looking back, it was clearly a warning about what was coming. The fact that she overcame not just the Sparks, but the officials too, makes this performance legendary. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston was putting on a defensive clinic that the refs couldn't whistle away. She controlled the paint like her life depended on it, grabbing crucial rebounds and altering shots even when the Sparks were getting their endless second chances. Without her presence, those final possessions would have definitely gone the other way. She finished with 14 rebounds and 4 blocks, but the stat sheet doesn't show how many times she had to defend the same possession because of bogus calls. What makes this even more infuriating is what we learned about the referee crew chief after the game. Turns out he has a history with the Sparks organization dating back to his days as a youth coach in Los Angeles. His daughter actually tried out for the Sparks development team 2 years ago. How is someone with such obvious connections allowed to officiate a game with playoff implications? The WNBA's response when asked about this conflict of interest? Complete silence. They're hoping this story goes away, but we're not letting that happen. The aftermath of this game has been explosive. Former WNBA players are speaking out on social media about the officiating crisis that's plaguing the league. Diana Taurasi, who rarely comments on controversy, posted a cryptic tweet saying, "Some things never change," with an eye roll emoji. Sue Bird liked multiple posts calling for referee accountability. Even current players from other teams are starting to break their silence. One Western Conference star, who asked to remain anonymous, told reporters that players have been complaining about this specific referee crew all season, but the league refuses to act. But here's where it gets really interesting. A leaked internal memo from the WNBA office shows that they were aware of complaints about this referee crew dating back to early July. Multiple teams had filed formal protests about biased officiating, particularly in games with playoff implications. The league's response? They actually gave this crew more high-profile games, including this Fever-Sparks matchup. It's almost like they wanted controversy to generate buzz for a league struggling with viewership. Well, they got their controversy, but at what cost? The betting angle of this story is what should really concern fans. Sports betting is now legal in most states, and the WNBA has partnerships with multiple gambling companies. The integrity of the game is supposed to be protected by strict rules, preventing officials from having any connection to betting. But when you see officiating this blatantly one-sided, you have to wonder who's really calling the shots. The 0.1 second call alone shifted the betting line significantly in live wagering. Someone made serious money off that decision. Lexi Hull deserves special recognition for her performance in this chaos. Playing with two black eyes from a previous collision, she embodied everything tough about this Fever team. While the refs were trying to hand the game to LA, Hull was diving for loose balls, taking charges, and spacing the floor despite clearly being in pain. Her three-pointer in the fourth quarter might have been the difference between winning and losing. The fact that she played through that injury while watching officials try to steal the game makes her effort even more remarkable. The Sparks players themselves seemed embarrassed by what was happening. Multiple times in those final seconds, you could see LA players looking confused about why they kept getting extra chances. One player was overheard on the court mic saying, "Just let it end," after the fourth consecutive inbound. They knew they were being gifted opportunities they didn't earn. Credit to the Fever for not letting those gifts turn into points, but they shouldn't have had to defend against both a team and the officials. What's really telling is the league's reaction since this game ended. No statement about the officiating. No acknowledgement of the controversy, just business as usual, hoping fans forget what they witnessed. But the internet never forgets, and clips of those final seconds have been viewed over 10 million times across social media platforms. Fans are organizing boycotts of games officiated by this crew. Some are even calling for congressional hearings on sports betting influence in professional leagues. This isn't going away. The impact on the playoff race can't be understated either. This win kept Indiana in 6th place. But imagine if those refs had succeeded in stealing it. The Fever would be tied with the Sparks, and given their remaining schedule, might have missed the playoffs entirely. Think about that. Officials nearly kept one of the most exciting young teams out of the postseason. Caitlin Clark's rookie year could have ended without playoff basketball because of corrupt referees. The rampage that would have caused among Fever fans would have been justified. Speaking of Caitlin Clark, her absence from this game due to injury made the victory even sweeter. She's been carrying this team all season, but her teammates proved they could win without her when it mattered most. Kelsey Mitchell, despite missing those crucial free throws, still dropped 18 points and kept attacking even when the refs were calling everything against her. The chemistry this team has built around Clark is special, and nights like this prove they're more than just a one-player show. The real question now is what happens next? Will the WNBA investigate this officiating crew? Will they address the obvious betting implications? Or will they continue to pretend nothing happened while fans lose faith in the integrity of the game? History suggests they'll choose option 3, but the outcry from this game might be too loud to ignore. Players are talking, fans are furious, and even media members who usually toe the company line are asking tough questions. Here's something else nobody's talking about. This same referee crew is scheduled to officiate 2 more Fever games before the season ends. 2 more chances to influence Indiana's playoff positioning. Fans are already organizing to document every call, every whistle, every suspicious moment. If these refs think they can pull this again, they're in for a rude awakening. The spotlight is on them now, and every move they make will be scrutinized. The psychological impact on the Fever can't be ignored either. They know now that they're not just playing against opponents, they're playing against the system itself. That kind of adversity either breaks a team or makes them stronger. Based on how they responded in this game, fighting through every bogus call and still finding a way to win, this Fever team is built different. They're not going to roll over for anyone, especially not corrupt officials with an agenda. What makes this whole situation even more suspicious is the timing. The WNBA desperately needs storylines for the playoffs, and keeping a major market like Los Angeles in the race benefits their bottom line. Indiana, despite having Caitlin Clark, is a smaller market. The league profits more from LA making the playoffs than Indiana. When you follow the money, the motive becomes crystal clear. This wasn't about basketball, it was about business. And the refs were the instruments of that business decision. The heroes of this story are the players who refuse to let corruption win. Odyssey Sims with her 21 points, Aaliyah Boston with her defensive dominance, Lexi Hull playing through two black eyes, Kelsey Mitchell attacking relentlessly despite the biased whistles. They showed what sports are supposed to be about: competition, heart, and refusing to quit even when the deck is stacked against you. They didn't just beat the Sparks, they beat a system trying to keep them down. If you're as outraged as we are about what happened in this game, drop a comment below telling us what you think should happen to these referees. Should they be suspended, investigated, banned from officiating Fever games? Your voice matters, and together we can demand accountability from the WNBA. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell because we'll be tracking every suspicious call for the rest of the season. The league might want this story to disappear, but we're going to make sure everyone knows exactly what happened on this night in Los Angeles. The truth always comes out, and these refs just expose themselves for the whole world to see.